moment of silence, and tonight, just with all the unrest in the world, and if we could get the roll call, please, Ms. Bain.
Yes. Mayor Velardo,
Here.
Vice Mayor Parrish,
Here.
Mr. Price,
Here.
Mr. Thompson,
Here.
Ms. Russell,
Here.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Ms. Barney.
Here.
All right, that takes us right into proceedings. Has everyone had a chance to look over the proceedings from the February 3rd council meeting? And if so, can we get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Barney,
Yes.
Mr. Parrish,
Yes.
Mr. Velardo,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
And then we received the January 2026 financial report. If we could just get a motion to say we received those.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Parrish,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Velardo,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Barney,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
That moves us right into the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we have a little bit of a different city manager's report. You got my traditional report that highlights all the different departments, but I really want to bring more focus to the memo that I put in the rear. I'll walk through the memo itself. The first thing that I wanted to highlight was I wanted to give an update on the Wallace Avenue Water Tower project. This has been a project that is really a huge project for the city, not only from a dollar amount, but also the impact that it makes on the residents as it relates to the water system. As a friendly reminder, the city received a $3 million grant for this water tower, and the total cost is about $4.4 million. The rest of it was secured through an OWDA loan. What I did is I put together a where we're at currently, and then I'll highlight moving forward some of the issues that we've encountered that has led us to where we are at today. To date, we've spent about $3 million. Actually, all of the grant, the entirety of the $3 million grant, we spent the entirety of it, and now we're transitioning into the loan itself. We had a hiccup along the way early last month. About 2 weeks away from actually mobilizing to install the water tower, it became an issue that the electric within the area was going to restrict them from actually completing the work, and primarily that has to do with the crane that is required to actually mobilize and set up that water tower. So through further conversations, the contractor for the water tower decided to actually move back the mobilization from January to that of April. Simultaneously, and what I'll do is, looking at the big pages, you've got the original timeline, which was
Fictional?
this one that ends Q4 2026. That was the original timeline. So the water tower should have been completed by November of 2026. Here recently, it's been pushed back to Q3 of 27. And where the issue comes up is, obviously, that's we should have never ran into this issue this close to actually installing the water tower and mobilizing to complete that installation. Furthermore, pushing it back to Q3 27 not only is rather ridiculous, that also extends past the actual contract that was signed between the city and the contractor. Per the contract, it has to be done by Q1 of 27. I believe it's March 1st of 27. So we're running into an issue there, and of course we're not going to accept that timeline, as not only does that violate the contract, but that is significantly further than what was originally agreed upon. So the moral, or what I'm trying to communicate here is, we have experienced some delays. We have experienced some issues. We're going to work, I believe we have a meeting tomorrow with the engineer that's in charge of overseeing that project. And we're going to get a status update from them as to what the conversations have been with the contractor for the water tower, as they're going to violate their contract. There's going to be a performance issue there. And we're not just going to accept that timeline just because they propose it. So more information is to come on that, but if that's something that they feel that they can't do, and one of the issues is the fact that when it comes to actually fabricating the water tower and painting it, there's an issue with the temperature. So if it's too cold, that's where a lot of the issues run into, where we run into a lot of the issues. So I'm just giving a simple status update on that. Obviously, more information is to come in terms of the contract and what that timeline looks like. But I know this is a project that a lot of people can't wait to get finished, including us internally. So that's my status update. I'll answer any questions before I move on. There's only a few more things I want to discuss.
Are we financially where we want to be in transitioning to the loan?
What do you mean by
I
that?
mean, is the plan for it to be now?
Yeah, so once we expended the grant, then we'll just automatically transition into the loan.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's as expected.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and we purposely did that, one, because we didn't want to pay on the loan from the start.
Sure.
Obviously, but also that grant had to be expended by, I believe it was the end of last year. There was a timeline on that,
Okay.
so it was important to spend that down prior to moving into that loan.
Okay.
You said we never should have run into this problem this close to actual start of building the tower, but I guess the question that I have kind of is like, why did we run into this? Whose responsibility was it to check these things? Was that not done in time? Did we not? I know that you came in when this project had already been, started and contracts signed and all that type of thing, right? So I guess that's a piece of information I'd like to find out, is what happened that led us to where we are right now.
Yeah, I asked the same question because I think it's ridiculous. The contractor's out of South Dakota. We've had them on site multiple times. We've had our engineers on site multiple times. It's absolutely ridiculous that we waited that long to identify that issue, in my personal opinion, and that's why I have been rather angry as this has sort of transpired along the way. So unfortunately, there's not an answer to that other than it's absolutely ridiculous that we waited that long to identify that issue.
And to echo the Vice Mayor's comments, moving forward, I'm confident that we'll have better communications. But what is our recourse to basically light a fire to make sure that, our residents are frustrated, we're all frustrated. We're made a promise, and again, no fault of yours, but we are in this situation. So what is our next steps, whether it's weekly meetings, monthly meetings, or just, financially? Are we able to, are they going to now just pave the road for us because we've,
Well,
or something along that lines? I feel we're entitled to something else.
well, and I think that's what we need to figure out is there's a part of this in which we can't force. We just can't. We can't force them to put up the water tower tomorrow. It's just too big of a project. That's not an excuse. It's the facts, and that's what I'm hinting at. Is there's going to have to be something from a monetary standpoint that makes us a better situation. I still entirely disagree with the timeline, and I think that we can hopefully push that up. One of the easiest situations, or one of the easiest areas I've identified is the painting. This originally was just going to be basically the water tank where it is now. It's just blue with Milford. That will never be anything I will ever advocate for. That is what people see. It sticks up way in the air, even higher than what it is now. that is a marketing tool for us. We need to have something beyond just block letters and a blue blob. So that is something that I think we can work on. The paving, that's an obvious concern, and there's going to be heavy trucks. The crane will take up the entirety of the road when it's in use. So there presumably is going to be damage. That's not a road that you can just travel up with that long and that big of truck easily. So it's going to be something. In fact, at one point they thought they were going to have to fly in the tower using helicopters because of the challenges with the roadway. So it unfortunately is a somewhat difficult spot to navigate. So I would suspect that we're going to get as much as we can out of this and still fight that timeline, because it's just ridiculous.
Well, I think we've all suffered through it, but no more so than the people who live up there. And I appreciate their patience, because for the most part, they've been very patient. The residents who've been most inconvenienced by all that have been. So publicly, rest assured that we're doing everything possible to move forward. But again, it's, to your point, not an easy fix.
Is there a financial penalty in that contract?
So that's what the contractor's reviewing. I didn't see anything that stood out to me, but or at least specifically stating, this. There might be something in the wording that sort of hint at that, but that is what they're working on, and that's why I feel that there's a good chance that we are going to pull in other people to this situation, because we're just simply not getting the oversight that is needed to execute on the high level.
That's frustrating.
So, Ms. Barney, to Mr. Gunderson, Mayor?
Absolutely.
Thank you. To Mr. Gunderson's point, it really is an all hands on deck of cobbling together, looking at the provisions, getting expertise from the engineer, and looking at those, dealing with the contractor. Typically, and I can't remember that particular contract, but typically there'd be what's known as a liquidated damages clause for, you have a hard completion date and you get paid a certain amount every day that's not completed. Now, the fight's about the completion date and whatever, but there should be a liquidated damages clause in there. Don't quote me, because I don't remember now, but that's one of the, to answer your specific question, that's certainly one thing we'll be looking at.
But we want it done.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we want it done, and we've spent $3 million of it already, so
yeah.
we're by no means holding it up. But the point is
Yeah.
there's a performance issue with the contract that needs to be settled and figured out.
Needless to say, they probably won't be doing,
Anymore.
Also, you could look at the surety too, potentially, and see, but again, these are all hands on deck trying to figure it out.
all right.
All right, just real quick, I wanted to provide a update on the 5 Points irrigation project. For those of you that are new to council, this was a contract that was passed last year for the irrigation at 5 Points. The city received $400,000 in state funding for improvements at 5 Points, and this was a project that was going to be pulled from that revenue. The contractor had a rather serious illness that pushed this back to basically this year. So I got an email today saying that they'll be on site as early as Thursday to start working on this. They have a deadline of April 1st. That way it doesn't conflict with any of our summer activities, treating of the grass, et cetera. So we are making progress on that project, and we're looking forward to getting that completed. The other item I wanted to discuss was the PFAS treatment feasibility study. Staff met with the consultant AECom earlier this week to schedule a kickoff date and make sure we're all up to speed on what that process looks like. So that's about a 4-month process. We have to get our upgrades in place by 2031. So we're well ahead of the required deadline to address some of the PFAS issues, but they had a pretty good idea as to what was going to be required, and they're going to send us a few plants around this area that have completed a similar type change to their water treatment process, and we'll be able to tour the facilities, and they'll come up with a price, and then we'll start working from there. Other than that, I provided a couple other updates. The FC mini pitch the construction's 100% complete. The graphics will be installed by the end of March. I expect it'll be probably the beginning of March, and then we'll look to schedule a ribbon cutting. And then city staff also met with the new Milford school superintendent, Dr. Fiore. It was a very productive conversation. We discussed several topics, and we're excited to continue that collaboration and look for more opportunities to partner with the school district. That is all I have unless there's any questions.
Seeing none, that brings us to the Chief o' Police.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. You should have my January report in your packets, and unless you have any questions on that, I'd like to brag on some of my officers, if that's okay. You may have saw this one in the news. Shout out to Detective Staggs for his work on that $150,000 embezzlement case from A Million Dreams Daycare here in Milford. That was a very extensive, months-long investigation. Shout out to Detective Brown for closing out 2 recent auto thefts with a confession from a suspect. Shout out to Clerk Kim Sheenshang for her work on our CALIA assessment. This is our quadrennial site-based assessment, which means an assessor will be coming in and riding along and interviewing members of the public in our department. Right now, she is doing a lot of what they call off-site work with a compliance service member. A lot of work involved there where they review our policies, look for proofs of compliance. And I think it's worthy of note that we are one of 5 departments in the state of Ohio with less than 25 sworn. That's a size A agency to have achieved accreditation and maintained it for all of those years, 26 years now. Shout out to the officer, I didn't mean to promote him just yet, Officer Flynn for solving a hit and run and also for appearing in a Milford in Motion video, which last I heard he was out trending me and Mr. Gunderson. So really appreciate him willing to be on camera. And the last but not least, shout out to Sergeant Chastain and Unit 1 of the Milford Community Fire Department. We received the following message through social media. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Milford Fire Department, EMTs, and Police Department. My husband fell this morning on the melting ice. He is a severely brain-injured patient. I want to recognize their professionalism, their caring hearts. Not only did they take care of my husband, but they shoveled the rest of my driveway without being asked and salted my walkway. I know they don't get recognized often, but I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you, and a big shout out to Jeff, AKA Mailbox, whom I've known for many years. So thought that was a worthy shout out to share with you guys. It shows the collaboration and teamwork we share with the Community Fire Department.
Any questions for the chief?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Speaking of chiefs, Chief James Nickel.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. You should have our weekly report. It's been submitted. The only other thing I have is right now there's a Claremont County Fire Investigation Team seminar being hosted at the Weiler Family Automotive Group building on Milford Parkway. It was today and tomorrow. 16 of our members are participating in that, and there's over 100 firefighters, or fire investigators, I should say, from the area from Hamilton County, Claremont County, Warren. I've seen some from Indiana. So it's a really good class, and yeah, well, I've got. So you have something for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any council comments? Anything council would like to bring up to discuss before we move into the committee as a whole?
I do. It's nothing that important. I was wondering if we could light a fire under the landscaping department, or landscaping people. I drove over the bridge, coming over the river, and those plants that's in the boxes, they look really bad. So maybe we just pull them out.
You are the second person to tell me that tonight, so we will get on it.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, that reminds me, I was up at the trailhead, and there's a nice map up there, but it's really outdated. There's at least 12 businesses that aren't here anymore.
Did we put the new HMA map up there?
No.
Okay, all right.
We've
then we'll
talked
update
about
that.
getting the
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
all
great map.
updated.
Yeah. Well, on our mobile app, HMA, Brad, maybe you can bring more light to this, but basically you had an updated map late last year. So that's on our mobile app. So what we'll do is we'll just print it and put it up there. So that way there's an up-to-date one.
And was there talk about identifying parking with signage?
That's
Or-
part of the wayfinding signage.
Yeah. Is that where are we in that process?
That process hasn't started other than
okay.
putting it within the budget, so
Okay,
that'll have to be
okay.
something that we get moving on and,
It was a great sign.
yeah.
Did indicate parking on the new HMA map,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other comments? Seeing none, can we get a motion to move into the committee as a whole?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Let the record reflect that we moved into the committee as a whole meeting and called to order. And then we need to have another roll call.
Mr. Parrish?
Here.
Mr. Velardo?
Here.
Mr. Price?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Ms. Barney?
Here.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Russell?
Here.
All right, so I think I shall turn this back over to our city manager to discuss the initial items here.
Thank you, Mayor. First on the list is amending the last appropriation ordinance. Provided in the packet is the set amendments to the budget. There's a few things I wanted to call out. About a quarter of the, you'll see on the very left-hand side, there's small numbers, 101, 202, 204, those are the funds, so general fund, water fund, et cetera. Within the general fund itself, so staying in that 101 at the very bottom, you'll see two large changes, which is 220,000 and 300,000. What that reflects is the reallocation of the income tax with 100% of it going to the general fund. In order to keep those funds to the levels in which we originally budgeted, we're simply taking the transfer from the general fund and transferring to those respective funds. So it's a net zero gain. It's just you're just shuffling the money that was originally budgeted in those funds. Some of the items that have come up here is some have been over budgeted, some have been under budgeted. Some of the items that have been in this is we've closed out POs from last year. So if we completed a project or we started a project last year and say we paid on it, but not the entirety of it, we closed it out and then reopened it this year. So moving into the end of this year and following years, we'll no longer close those out. We'll just keep them going until we close out that project. But what that does is we now have to reopen a PO to obviously pay the remaining portions of those projects. So the only difference is if you keep the PO open, you're effectively spending money from last year's budget. Now we're spending it from this year's budget. And due to the fact that we have several projects that are a large amount, so if you go to 502, for example, that's the water fund. We have our sand filter media project that wasn't entirely paid for last year, so we had to increase that professional services line item to complete that project. Now, I'll emphasize, we're not spending any new money. What would have been open last year and just not paid on just goes to that account balance. So it's not like we're still paying it from that respective account, but it's just it's hitting this year's budget versus last year's budget. So those have been a lot of the major changes regarding that. Is for example, in the stormwater fund, we bought a utility truck last year for $75,000, and it's taken this long to get the truck. Well, we closed that PO out and we had to pay them. So the stormwater fund, for example, we had to increase that to pay for that truck along with the other projects we budgeted. So it's, once again, we're still spending the same money. It's a difference of paying it this year versus last year. That's what it comes down to. Some of the other items we just either under budgeted or over budgeted, and that's reflected on the sheet. Any questions on that?
Questions?
I would recommend the law director draft an ordinance amending appropriation ordinances 2025-415, 26-423, and 23-202 in the amounts in the chart in the packet.
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you. Alrighty, moving on to the schedule of fees, fines, grants, or excuse me, fees, fines, and charges for services, licenses, and permits. This was something that I introduced last year at the beginning of the year, and it was coming up with a fee schedule. So that way, when someone comes in or someone wants to know how much it costs for a shed or a what are the water rates? It's a schedule that shows all of our fees across planning, zoning, water, sewer. It's a list that reflects all of that. Why I like that is because I don't want to have to go searching. I don't want people to have to go searching, 20 different tabs to find how much it costs to file a permit, a special events, if it's a shed. If we just have one list, and what this really plays into is that AI chatbot that is going to work in conjunction with our customer service initiatives is this will be hosted on the website. So if I want to ask how much a shed is going to cost me a permit-wise, I can type that into the chatbot and it'll pull it up automatically because this will be the host of all the information. If someone comes in and they want to know how much a fee is for a particular item, we'll be able to have one sheet that shows exactly what our fees are for various items. And this is something that we will update every year, so that way we're staying up to speed on some of these fees. As it relates to the building department, that works in conjunction with Hamilton County, so that'll just naturally change if Hamilton County changes their fees. And that's something that we passed last year with the ordinance, so that way it just automatically adjusts. But we still want to put that in our fee schedule because people are still having to, they have to be aware of it. So this is all the fees associated with our city services, everything from a sign to a shed, to the water, to the sewer, et cetera. So this is simply, and there's really not a whole lot of changes to this other than just putting it on one fee schedule, so that way it's easily accessible.
I just have a question. What's the process for collecting these fees?
That's a good question. It depends upon the fees. A lot of the fees are collected in our customer service area. So if you file a shed permit, when you turn in the application and assuming it gets approved, then we would collect it then. So a lot of that's collected in-house. The building fees, that's something that we get billed for and then we have to pay to our NIC, which is our building department.
Okay, thank you.
So it just depends upon the fee.
Do they
But a
take
lot of it's
Apple
in-house.
Pay? For, if you're just running a shelter or something?
That's a good question.
Not
No.
at this time.
Not at this
Yeah.
time. You can use your credit card or your debit card, but we don't have Apple Pay yet or
No,
Android
not-
Pay.
Not at this time. we
Okay.
don't.
And I noticed, so I'm the clerk of the burial committee at our Quaker meeting, and your fees are very reasonable because we have a section at Spring Grove.
Yeah.
And I was looking, I'm like, wow, what was it, $6.80 or something for a resident?
Yeah.
Over the years, we've had great discussion over that, because obviously, you're running out of space, so.
Right, what did you,
at a-
it's
at a
like, what,
premium.
95 or 90-some% filled?
Right.
Yeah, we're at over 90%.
Not
Yeah.
yet.
We think it's closer to 95%.
And that's where the columbariums have
Yeah,
become
yeah,
so
I
popular.
went and looked at those.
Yeah, so,
There's a children's area. I didn't realize, I was just looking in the fee schedule, there's
Yeah.
like different fees.
so, but yes, I mean, it's probably something that we discussed over the years at great
I'm gonna
length.
say, they're reasonable,
Yeah.
really reasonable. How old is that cemetery? Old,
The Gatch family came here in the early 1800s.
so
And where the firehouse is located, there was a small burial plot. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Chief Nichol, I believe. There's a small burial plot there. Yeah, the original entrance is where the
Oh.
firehouse was.
oh, okay.
And there was a small, and I'm pretty sure this headstone's the early 1800s. So, yeah.
But the city, I mean, as long as the
Oh,
city's
the
been
city
incorporated.
didn't take it over until never, but, yeah, that's kind of a nuance. But technically, when the city annexed It was part of Miami Township.
And just became part of.
Yeah, it was 82 or 3, I think it was, something like that, something, yeah. something
Oh.
along that
But for the right price, someone can take it over and maintain
Yeah.
it for us.
So if your Quaker organization wants to, another little project,
We have our own issues.
all right.
I would make a recommendation that the law director draft an ordinance adopting a schedule of fees, fines, and charges for services, licenses, and permits, as spelled out in the chart.
Second.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes,
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the marijuana moratorium. I certainly can't speak to prior to my time. I know that we've passed one of these since I've been here, and you know, previously what I've done is I've always tied it to the zoning code, and that was due to the fact that really it was new. You know, over the last how many years, this is obviously a newer topic. But by implementing or creating a moratorium, it would allow for you to address it in the zoning code. And this is something that those that were on council last year have discussed, how that fits into the zoning code, where at, how many, et cetera. And we were hoping to get the zoning code revision done by the end of last year, and it hasn't. The first draft for a large share of that zoning code, proposed zoning code, goes to Planning Commission on the 23rd, and further review. A very high level Planning Commission with any of the proposed changes, they are technically supposed to recommend it to City Council before City Council reviews it. With this particular topic, once again, this is something that right now we have a limit of 1. But we want to address this in the zoning code in terms of the area and how many, if we want to change it or not. That's to be decided, but this gives us enough time to really start working through that process and ensure that we're all on the same page in conjunction with Planning Commission to establish where that area is and how many. So my recommendation is a 180-day moratorium. It's less than what it was before. The last one was 240 days. But this just ensures that we're able to plan for those types of businesses and determine where we want them, if we want them, and how many. And once again, I want to emphasize, the first draft is going to Planning Commission, so it's not like we're not doing anything about it and we're just kicking it down the road. We are actively working on it. We will need some further guidance from council eventually as to what that looks like. Once we establish what that area is, if we want to leave it at just 1, if it's 2, whatever that number is, we will need some guidance on that. But this is just, once again, allowing for us to continue that process with the zoning code and move in alignment.
Did you say, well, there's 1 now, and only 1 is allowed right now?
Correct.
So why do we need a moratorium?
Because that's what that's what it says.
Yeah.
To keep it at the limit of just 1 is the reason that council keeps passing moratoria,
Correct.
until the zoning code can be.
Okay, until it gets in the code?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
And then once the zoning code is updated, so on this, as opposed to time frame, couldn't we have just said until the zoning code is properly adopted?
We could, but my concern with that is that the law, and it's fuzzy, so that's why I'm taking perhaps a more conservative approach, because the law clearly supports what we're trying to do here, which is we don't want to do anything yet until we have a full zoning plan. So that's all we're trying to do. Again, I may be being overly conservative by saying these temporary moratoria turn into takes if you keep extending them ad nauseum. And I'm not saying we're doing that. I'm saying that's why your very good question is, why can't we tie this to the zoning code? Well, we just don't know when we're going to have the zoning code done. So, but for the record, everybody said it, and we're all saying it again here. We're tying this to the zoning code, which is perfectly appropriate. We just don't know when that's going to be. So again, being on the conservative side, I'd rather just leave it at 180 days than to say when the zoning code is, because I don't know when we're going to get the zoning code done. So it's a great question. You may be right. I'm just taking a conservative approach.
So theoretically, the zoning code may or may not be done. And if it's done within the 180 days, then, and we vote on it, and then the zoning code you'd have to rescind this 180-day moratorium,
Which you
correct?
could do in the zoning code amendment, or you could do in the ordinance authorizing the zoning code, correct?
How did the original one get in? Through an ordinance or?
Yes, I believe so, and I believe it was after the citizens-led initiative that legalized adult use separately than medicinal,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. But yes, it was through an ordinance. And that too is also, if you, in the packet, the last version of the
Okay,
ordinance is
okay.
there for your reference.
Yeah. And this is, how many years ago, Krista? Like 4 years?
Time is lost all meaning post-pandemic,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah, really.
it could have been last week, it could have been 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
so, but anyway, but yes, when it was first legalized,
Yeah.
yeah, they put it just to make sure that, most communities did something similar to that so that they could have a better handle on where
But getting it in the code will give it more teeth about
and
Maybe
what.
more
and
permanence as
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
right? So
You know, once the zoning code's done,
Then
I mean,
it's-
it's,
okay.
yeah. If
Until you
someone
change
was-
the zoning code,
Right,
right?
right,
Yeah.
which is much more difficult than, you know.
I'm very much not a fan of the continual can kicking we have done up until this point. So I would just put out there, at least from my own viewpoint, if we're going to be proposing another moratorium on this, let's also come with, here's the progress we've made on the zoning code so that it doesn't just turn into Groundhog Day, right? So if we're going to do something, let's do something, right? So I like, though, that you have already got a first draft places, so that's encouraging.
Any other discussion?
So is it pretty realistic to think in 6 months we will have zoning code to
Yeah,
address?
I think it's very realistic we'll have the zoning code. I mean, some of that process has to go through planning commission, and planning commission wants to be super involved.
Yeah.
That's gonna extend it. Now, the planning commission said, hey, you know, you staff, we will let you sort of take the first draft, or, you know, we'll let you sort of create what you think meets both the future goals of the city as well as council's thoughts on future growth and what should be where and what that zoning code looks like, and you know, we'll review it and provide comments, and it's as simple as that. Then it can be rather streamlined, and then it would come to council for consideration. But I will once again emphasize that that this will have to eventually be a topic in which we discuss, you know, do we want to put a limit on it?
Yeah.
Do we want to, I will personally, my personal belief, I don't particularly like having dispensaries in the downtown. Now, council can say, well, great, but we want it, and then we put it in the code. You know, it's as simple as that. But, and then also that of, hey, maybe we only want 2, or maybe we only want 3, or maybe we don't want to put a number, and that's totally fine. But that'll be something that council will have to evaluate, regardless of what planning commission says. The planning commission says we want 0, and council says, well, we already have 1, maybe we'll have 1 more. Then that can be, you know, said or done as well. So it will be a future discussion, and it's not just this. It's several other, you know,
sure.
business. That's
Yeah.
the time to evaluate. Where do you want this particular business in this particular area? If not, then, you know, it's not permitted.
Well, how many moratoriums have we had? How many times?
This is the third one.
This is the third. And all waiting for the zoning. Okay,
And this is by far the shortest one.
okay.
And I will say,
First one was-
part of the issue that we had with the zoning code was the fact that the zoning code took, the original consultant had that contract for like 3 years and then dropped us because they couldn't, there was a disconnect. They couldn't honor a price from 3 years ago. We sat on this for how long? So now that we have someone working on it, which is our city planner, and he creates zoning codes for a living. This is now my 3rd one with him. We are starting to make progress on that, which is now why it's finally getting to planning
That's
commission.
good.
And
Yeah.
he's made more progress in a year than the
Well, and I
previous
know it's a
administration
slow-
made
a slow
in
process.
4 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I just wanted to draw it out to Mr. Parrish's point that, you know, we are making progress. We just had a hiccup, which is why we got
Okay.
to this point.
I'm sorry, Mayor, Ms. Barney, because I don't think we've discussed this, just state law allows you to eliminate them altogether,
Okay,
limit the number,
okay,
or not limit the number at all,
okay,
or not say anything about them at all.
okay.
In which case, you then I wouldn't suggest not saying anything at all, because then that's left open to interpretation. Where you put them, is this a retail facility, does this apply somewhere? My suggestion is that council get very intentional about what it wants. And even if it didn't hit the bullseye the first time, that's okay. Legislation gets amended all the time to reflect the facts on the ground, and you change the zoning code if you feel the need is different. So it gives you a chance. That's the whole point of the moratoria, is to kind of get that and do it right the first time. But if you have to change it, you can change it.
I would hate that if you don't have the moratorium and someone puts one in somewhere and we change the
Right.
zoning
That's-
code,
Yeah.
and then they're non-conforming use and, so it just,
And that's why the law does, and certainly we have good evidence, and we are in fact tying this to the zoning code and evaluation, and courts support those type of moratoria all the time. This is not some trick to outlaw these altogether. This is a way for you to plan for it, and the courts recognize that as a very proper rationale.
any other discussion?
I would recommend that the law director draft an ordinance imposing an additional 180-day moratorium on adult use cannabis dispensaries or businesses and prohibiting marijuana cultivators and processors within the city of Milford.
Second.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the purchase of 3 new firewalls, one for City Hall, one for the Water Department, one for the Sewer Department. Pretty straightforward. I've got the attached quote in the packet. This was budgeted this year. It actually came in about $3,000 less than what we worked into the budget for obvious security issues and ensuring that we have adequate technology. It's imperative that we make this upgrade.
Comments, questions?
Can we, if we're gonna do additional IT-related stuff through our vendor here, can we get them just to provide a little more detail on the hardware we're actually buying? Because all I know from this is that it's a Sophos firewall, but there's different prices for the different ones. So what's the difference between Sophos firewall on line 1 and Sophos firewall on line 3, other than one goes to the water partner and another goes to the city building? It's kind of hard to tell if we're getting decent pricing if we don't have details of what we're actually getting. So just for future,
Okay.
that would be great. Anybody else have questions? I would recommend the law director draft an ordinance authorizing the city manager to purchase new firewalls for City Hall, Water Department, and Sewer Department.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to the Claremont County Chamber of Commerce Bronze Premier Investor Status. This is something that we met with the Claremont County Chamber of Commerce, I believe it was last week, to discuss what their offerings are. And the city has been somewhat, we've participated, at least since I've been here, we've participated in several events. The Chamber of Commerce is obviously, they focus primarily on businesses and how can they support businesses either through growth, either through perks, networking, et cetera. And this is something I think we have we have a need to have a strong Chamber of Commerce. We have a need to ensure we have a strong Chamber of Commerce that connect our businesses to the resources they need to expand, to network, and they really are they're a very strong Chamber of Commerce on the Claremont County side. They've got great people that work for them. I believe that this will be a tremendous partnership. And we've even looked at working with them for the state of the city and seeing how we can incorporate them into that process. And I feel very strongly about partnering with the Claremont County Chamber to really fulfill those needs that we have locally with the businesses and partnering them with the Chamber and what they have to offer. So this is what I provided in the packet is I put the investor packages, so you'll see there's 5 different packages. We're still towards the bottom, but we didn't budget for this. And and I don't think we necessarily need the platinum status. I think the bronze status is adequate for now, and we get everything we would want out of it for now. We would be involved with the chamber more. We'd be more involved with them with the events and the networking opportunities and connecting with resources. I also put on the backside the chamber events. That's just a few of the events that they offer, but they're pretty diverse. One of the ones that well, we attend several of them. The annual meeting and awards, the economic forecast breakfast. That's really a great event that talks about the economy moving forward, either both short term and long term, and what their forecast is and what they're predicting. The law enforcement appreciation that will actually be brought to a different organization, but we have attended that, and that's a good event. The legislative reception, also a really good one. And then the Claremont County Manufacturing Summit, that'll actually be held at the brewery this year, so they're bringing that to Milford, and that'll be a good event. So I can discuss several other ones, but I, once again, just feel very strongly about this partnership and their abilities to help us as a city and us as a community, specifically the businesses, to grow and prosper.
And I truly believe it keeps Milford in the conversation. The businesses, obviously, we support all things Milford, but outside, if we have a greater presence, it keeps people coming into our community and wanting to spend their money here, hold their events at our event center. And I just think over the years, we had held this same status with them, and they dropped it some years ago. But I just think that they're just a very professional group of people that support businesses, support our businesses, and we more than get our value back from our investment in this organization.
Is this a one-year membership?
Correct.
Is there a way to actually track value that we do get back from this? Like, can we trace, like, oh, they're having this manufacturing summit at the brewery, tax revenue increased by, I'm just making,
Yeah.
Is there a way to track any of that?
I think some of the metrics that we could utilize, and I could think about this further and provide a better response maybe, but I think that one of the metrics that we could utilize is how do the businesses feel in terms of the benefits that they're getting. And I think a lot of the benefits beyond what the mayor said in terms of actually having our name out there, being connected to the people at the county that make the decisions. They lobby for both businesses and municipalities with the legislative, the congressmen, the senators, state reps, et cetera. I think that they're going to have far more value in terms of the offerings from a business side. The networking side, they do networking breakfasts, and those are well attended, and they spread those around. So I think that's another area that we can capitalize on. And I think not only from business to business, but also as a city, for us to be able to attend that and actually nurture those relationships with those businesses that maybe we don't always get. Those have been, I thought, good events. From the state of the city, for example, we're going to reach out to them and see if they'll do the ticketing for that. We don't have ticketing software, so to be able to run the ticketing through them and pay for that event that way, that's a resource we don't have access to. So, as well as event planning, I mean, they're willing to jump in and they'll do the ribbon cuttings. They'll jump in and help where needed. So, I could come up with metrics and run that through council, but to say these are the exact metrics, I don't know if I necessarily have that list prepared.
Well, I know that when I was on council previously, Claremont Chamber was very involved with the city. And so they did a lot of good things. They were always at a lot of the ribbon cuttings. There were many of the events that were at the event center once it got open that were Claremont County Chamber events. So, yeah, I think it's well
I
worth
do
it.
believe they've invested in our community heavily, and they support our community, and
Yeah.
it just builds one more bridge, I believe, to allow people to come into our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we know how many of our businesses are members of the chamber?
I don't know that off, there are quite a few. A lot of them have dual memberships, because you've got the Milford, Miami Township, you've got the Greater Cincinnati. A lot of them, they have some kind of shared membership, and so specific numbers, I'm sure they can get them for us. The other thing that they do so well is all those chambers work in together on these events. So you're not just pulling from
Right.
Claremont County, you're pulling from the Anderson Township, pulling from the East Side, Greater Cincinnati Chamber. So again, your reach is just, so much further, and your exposure, I believe, is one of the biggest benefits. And the relationships, to your point, the true relationships that, I go to a lot of these events, and, and they see Milford, and Milford it just stays in the conversation. That's what I really like about it.
I assume that we're members of the Milford, Miami Township?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I would recommend that the law director draft an ordinance allowing the city manager to engage with the Claremont County Chamber of Commerce for the Bronze Premier Investor status.
Second?
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to the Allied Pump Rentals purchase for the Chamber Drive lift station improvements. This is one of the items that was budgeted this year within the wastewater fund. What this primarily does is it addresses the guide rails that are within the lift station itself. It's unfortunately a pretty expensive fix, but it's something that's absolutely needed. And this will pretty much, it's not a totally new lift station, but this pretty much brings it to a new status and ensures that we're operationally staying efficient and effective. So this is just to replace the guide rails for that particular lift station.
Let's talk about sewage.
Unless anybody has any questions, I would recommend that the law director draft an ordinance allowing the city manager to engage with Allied Pump Rentals for the purchase of Chamber Drive lift station improvements.
Second?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the list is the street tree reimbursement program. So what we have is we've got a program here in the city. If you have to remove a street tree, that is the responsibility of the homeowner or the property owner. And we have a reimbursement program, in which you can submit an application and request a reimbursement. Right now, it's at $250 per tree per property. The Tree Commission is requesting or making a recommendation to City Council to increase that to $500. We have a budgetary line item for this, so it's not going to affect the budgetary line item. It's a difference of funding 10 trees versus, say, 5 trees. I don't know if everyone has taken down trees, but even $500 doesn't stretch very far, unfortunately. It's not even close. So it's just it's an additional offering that we have for the residents to address some of these trees. And a lot of the residents don't like the fact that they have to maintain the street trees. And I'm not going to go down that list of why it makes sense, but this is just an offering to offset some of that cost. So this is a recommendation from Tree Commission to increase it from $250 to $500 per tree per property.
For removal, not for replacement.
Correct. Now, we do have a separate program for planting trees, and there's an eligible list and a reimbursement for that, but that's separate.
I would recommend the law director draft an ordinance amending ordinance 17-1271 of the Milford Codified Ordinances establishing a tree rebate program for the city of Milford, Ohio.
Second?
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the list is allowing the city manager to purchase road salt. Obviously, we've had a pretty good winter that has brought quite a bit of snow. We are running a little bit low in the salt barn for the road salt. We're not close to being out, but we're definitely running low. So due to this being above my spending limits, we're part of a consortium, so we get it's $91 and I think 52 cents per ton. We're going to order 750 tons, so that will get our salt barn up to full capacity. That way, we're prepared if I'm not going to say it, but if we need the road salt.
Next year.
Yeah, next year, the year after. Yeah.
Unless anybody has any questions, I would recommend the law director draft an ordinance allowing the city manager to purchase rock salt with Compass Minerals per state bid number 24-034 SWO-P4G for a cost not to exceed $69,000.
Second.
May I stop you there for a second and ask a question? On the ordinance, it was updated to Morton Salt Incorporated.
I would take back my motion, and I would make a recommendation allowing the city manager to purchase rock salt with Morton per state bid number 24034 SWO-P4G for a cost not to exceed $69,000.
Thank you.
Second
Jack.
that.
Thank you. Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, boss, for paying attention.
Yeah.
All right, last one on the agenda is reallocating Jet 5 revenues from the park fund to the CIC. This is something that was brought up during the budget discussion, and as we were working through the appropriation ordinance, this came into to the forefront to determine whether or not the city council wants to make this change. Within the park fund itself, we budgeted to make sure that if council moved those JED revenues to the CIC, that we still had enough revenue within that fund to continue operations. So we left enough of a buffer here, but what this ordinance would allow us to do is similar to income tax, where we're allocating income tax to the general fund, park fund, capital improvement, and we put 100% into the general fund. And then we just transfer out. This would take it out of the Parks and Rec Fund and move it to CIC, which would better facilitate some of our economic development efforts, such as, and I'll take a step back to the appropriation. I should have brought it up. One of the items on there was what we did was during the budget we talked about that small business rebate program. So if someone makes an investment in their property and it's approved, if it's, say, a facade improvement, we'll reimburse up to $5,000 or 50% of that total cost. And we originally put for the CIC to handle that, and it just became sort of inefficient for CIC. That's really a city operation, and it would just sort of bottleneck that process there. So we made that change, but the CIC has several options, and one of the things that I'll discuss at the first meeting is a revolving loan fund. So if businesses want to grow, for example, and they need a $10,000 loan, we can create terms to sort of help with some of those expansions. And that CIC is really a unique tool for us from an economic development standpoint, because it has just more flexibilities. It's not the city. It's arm's length away, and we have a board, and you still have public meetings. You still follow a lot of the same principles, but it just has a little bit more functions and the ability to offer some of the items like a revolving loan fund, and you can do grants, and there's several other options with that. So I wanted to bring this before the board, before council. This is equivalent to about $15,000, and I think that this would be a good item to throw to the CIC to facilitate some of that small business growth within the city.
And for historic propriety, it originally was set up that way, that went into the CIC. When we formed JED 5, it originally went into the CIC.
What is JED 5?
Pretty sure JED 5 is West Claremont Schools.
Yes.
A JED is a joint economic development district where So if you're not a municipality, and I'm no lawyer or parliamentarian or city manager, so please stop me if I'm wrong, but if you're not a municipality, you lack certain powers to impose taxes on certain districts. So these areas will partner with a municipality per Ohio law in order to put a tax in place. Milford, being the municipality that partners with these different locations, gets a cut of that tax revenue. In this case, about $15,000 a year. So I have so many questions about this because we already talked about the desire to keep parks funded, even though we reallocated away from parks, and now we're getting ready to permanently reallocate away from a park. If the statement was made, we can reallocate into the general fund and then choose to move things into parks, why wouldn't we do the same thing with the CIC and reaffirm that we want to do this on an annual basis instead of making this a permanent, it automatically goes to the CIC, which has one publicly elected official on it. I know they have open meetings and the public is available to it. The revolving loan program sounds great. Do we charge interest and make money back there? I guess I'm not at a lack of words here, but I don't see why we have to make this a permanent allocation when the parks are definitely always going to be here and people are going to use them. Businesses, unfortunately, over decades may come and go, right? The CIC is important. I'm not debating that at all. What I'm saying is, if it's okay from the park standpoint to not have any money permanently go there, and those are publicly usable by every single resident and visitor in Milford, have it permanently go into an organization like the CIC, which again is very important and valuable to Milford. I'm not debating that. What I have a problem with is making this a permanent change rather than, because from now on, we're going to have to approve how much gets allocated to parks, right? Where before it was a certain percentage of income tax automatically went in there. We've done away with that. Now we're going to do away with any money that permanently comes into the park and just rely on good intentions and desire to keep the parks, which we're adding all these amenities to, which are going to require maintenance. We're not putting anything in the savings account to pay for this maintenance stuff down the road. So we can pay for and do economic development all day long, but we're just supposed to hope that we have enough money to do upkeep on the parks down the road and that city council decides it's worth our time to allocate that money. I have a really big problem with the current push to take money out of our parks because I think we have the best parks in all of Claremont County, but they're not going to stay that way if we don't put money into a parks account on a regular basis. And you can't rely on good intentions or desires because we just talked about the desire not too long ago, and we're already here pulling more money out of the parks.
See, and I'll disagree greatly that we're underfunding anything, and parks should be budgeted at the beginning of the year. We'll have a budget, we'll allocate. I don't think we've ever shown a desire not to fund our park projects.
Why not budget the CIC then? Put this into the general fund, let's budget that too.
I think the CIC, that small amount of money is more seed money than anything else that continually drives economic growth, which in turn gives you more money to pay for parks. So you could argue that we don't fund parks, but I would say we more than fund parks. We make sure that our parks, to your point, are some of the best that you have to offer. And by driving economic growth, by driving money into that CIC, which helps assist in economic development, sustainability for this community, makes this community stronger, more financially sound, to have money to fund the parks.
So why can't we budget for it in the normal budget cycle if the expectation and desire is to do the same thing for the park? Why make an ordinance to where automatically by law, regardless of what's going on, this money goes into a place where one of the reasons that we voted to reallocate, right, was when money goes into a certain account the way it was, it's restricted funds. You can't take money out of parks to pay for streets, right? So now I'm assuming this is also gone once it's out the door. It's CIC property. The money can never be reallocated without an additional ordinance, right?
Correct. In order for us to reallocate the JED revenues, it would have to be an ordinance.
So
that is correct.
Again, my question would be if it's okay for the parks to be allocated into the general fund and then rely on future councils to think it's worth the money to budget what the parks actually need. If CIC is so worth the money, why are we concerned that future councils aren't going to do the same thing and budget a certain amount every year? That also allows us to more easily increase, if we want to, what we give to CIC without having to do an additional ordinance. Where here, if this goes and we decide, okay, they need more than $15,000, we're still doing extra work.
Because the CIC has always been, in my opinion, underfunded.
But you're also the
original
chairman
intent-
of the CIC, right?
No, I'm not. Benjamin is.
You're the only elected official on the CIC, right?
No, Lisa Evans.
She's no
Oh,
longer.
she
on.
was.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
she was, yes. But the CIC works in conjunction with the city to push economic growth. First and foremost, we have only scratched the surface of what we can utilize the CIC for. I was on the CIC long before I was an elected official. The original intent, I go back to when JED 5 was first formed. One of the desires of that council back then was, and I wasn't on council, was to put some regular money into the CIC to help grow that fund so that they would have money allocated, whether it's business retention, whether it's business investment. And it's just a small amount of money that we can put in there that will fund the CIC.
I still think if we're reallocating everything into the general fund and relying on future budgets, I don't know why this should be any different. Again, I'm not arguing that the CIC has no value. To your point, it is very, very valuable to the future of the city. My problem more is making this a permanent change when, you know, we have desires to fund parks. We're going to have future desires to fund parks, but, you know, put wishes in one hand and desires in the other and see which one fills up first, right? So if we're going to rely on future budgets and it's good enough for, you know, city features that everyone can use, whether they're a business owner or not, or incoming business, or whatever the case may be, why can't we also budget for this important thing and allocate on an annual basis instead of making it permanent by funneling this money straight into there automatically?
What do we have in CIC now?
We had 74,000 at the beginning of the year, and we had built into the budget 65,000, so about 135,000, let's just call it. The other thing I'll throw out, and this isn't pushing back in any way, I can assure you, within that park fund, you know, it's 15,000. That doesn't cover the park fund, right? So that can go to both points. I'm just stating a fact here. This year we have 687,000 in that park fund. Now 400,000 of that is a grant, so just call it 300,000 is the lean park budget there. So regardless of where this goes, we're going to have to transfer money, and that was the whole point behind the income tax. So we can reallocate the income tax, but we're still going to have to make that transfer because we still have to cover those operations. Because the parks don't have a direct revenue source.
Right.
They just don't. The biggest revenue sources were the income tax and the JED at 15,000. The third biggest one is the 5 points farmers market vendor fees at 2,500. So the parks don't make money, and that's not the intent necessarily of parks, at least not here, is to be a revenue source. But regardless, we're going to have to transfer funds from the general fund to support those operations.
Do we have a plan as to what to do with the additional money that we're going to put in the CIC?
Well, I can't speak for the CIC board, but there's a lot of economic development activity going on in the city. I discussed the revolving loan fund. I think that is something that is consistent among CICs. I know that the county is rolling out a downtown grant program for downtowns in Claremont County through CDBG. So there's an opportunity to leverage those funds to help make some improvements in the downtown. I think the CIC, once fully established, will be able to facilitate economic development efforts without the city in terms of finding, someone to locate into buildings, to develop property. That there's a lot of different functions that a CIC can hold, but you can't do anything with 100 grand. You just can't. You can do a revolving loan fund, but if that's all you're doing, you're totally missing out on the full functions of that CIC.
And the CIC board, by law, correct me if I'm wrong, has got to be 60% city staff.
City staff?
No.
Or no, city.
Residents,
Residents,
Yeah.
yeah, residents and/or staff.
yeah.
How many people are on the CIC board?
President, 7, 8, 7?
7?
Yeah.
So it sounds like we have extra money in the park fund. And we want to put money in the CIC fund. Is that my understanding of it?
So the park fund, at the beginning of the year, the fund balance was 712,000, call it 713,000. Now, of that 713,000, 400,000 of that is at state grant for 5 points. So you're really at 300,000 within that park fund.
Do we consider that 300,000 is more than we need, and that's why we're trying to move it into CIC?
So to be fair, we're not trying to move that money that's currently sitting in the parks account. To my understanding, that 287 is staying in parks.
Sure.
What we're talking about is $15,000 every year per year out of this JED district. So I don't think there's an intent to move. We can't anyway.
It's coming out of
restricted
where,
funds.
again?
It's a JED. So how and Mr. Parrish gave a very good explanation of it. The only thing I'll just highlight is really the partnership is between a city and a township, because the townships don't have income tax. So you can create the JED. We have 8.
8 of them, yeah.
All with Union Township right now. And so TQL, for example, is in a JED. They can't collect income tax as a township without that JED. So by creating that JED, they can get an income tax distribution or income source. We get that because we're processing those income taxes, and that's why we get a share of it. So theoretically, the JED revenues can go up or down, with the exception of one JED we have, which has a cap.
Is there a need for that 15,000 now for CIC, or could we just move it when we have the need?
Well, I think that, once again, it's like anything. When you have the resources to do something, then that's when you can start actually creating these programs and actually doing work. If you have no money, you can't do anything.
Right.
And if you knew just $15,000, one of the programs would potentially could be capped. We know we're going to get $15,000, and that would be part of that program that we could utilize.
So it's more about 15,000 annually as opposed to just one time
Correct.
today?
Correct.
My whole point is, if it's good enough to not earmark anything for the parks and annually decide how much we want to put in there, why isn't it good enough for the CIC? Why do we have to make this a permanent change, right? So they need their $15,000 a year, fine, let's talk about it during budget season. Heck, if we're doing well, let's give them 30,000. Let's give them more than that, right? But let's look at it every year during budget season and figure out this is definitely positively affirmed by every voting member of this council. This is how much money we want to go to the CIC this particular year.
Every year?
Right. My problem is not at all with giving money to the CIC. I do have an issue with taking money out of parks, but that aside, let's decide actively how much we want to put in there every year instead of passing it now, and then the next council maybe doesn't even know this ordinance exists, and then forever and ever there's this money going in there that they're not aware of because they weren't here when the ordinance was passed, right?
Well, and they would see it. It's a budgetary line. You would see it. I mean, there's no hidden agenda. There's nothing hidden. Everything is transparent. Everything is out there. It just is a funding mechanism that we could utilize to help spur additional economic growth. With that being said, I would like to make a motion that we draft an ordinance reallocating JED 5 to the Milford CIC.
Well, I have a question. A previous council already allocated that money to the parks, right?
After it was already allocated initially to the JED.
Or to the CIC initially.
I mean, to
yeah.
the CIC.
And when was that?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, it was in it was a while ago. That's not on there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I believe it was within the last 3 years.
Uh,
You changed it.
I have a question.
On the ordinance itself, we would have amended the previous one.
Oh, you're right. It happened in 2023. Ordinance number
2023.
23-202.
There it is.
23202, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
right.
23, that's when it went to the
Okay.
parks.
I have a question about the ordinance request. It just says we're putting money in the CIC. It doesn't reference the amount or the fact that it's going to be done annually.
That's because it's a variable revenue source being a JED. So I can't give you a
But we're
necessarily
taking it
defined
from the
amount.
JED each year?
Correct.
And that's historically been how much
Okay.
it is.
Right around there.
There, again, some JEDs, TQL being the only one that is capped out, that's 162,000 that goes into the general fund every year.
So if we do this now, we also would be doing it at the end of the year in a budgeting process for next year?
It would already be in there as a line item. It's currently in there as a line item. Here's what
Yeah.
came in from the JED, here's
Okay.
where it's going. So right
Yeah.
now, it's just JED income, and then it goes straight into parks. This would change it to JED income, goes straight out to Milford CIC. But permanently.
But I mean, for the following year, it'll be budgeted in the CIC.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
we wouldn't have to take any action.
All right.
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Price,
No.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Miss Barney,
No.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Miss Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Velardo,
Yes?
Mr. Parrish.
No.
That is all I have. Thank you.
All right. Any other such matters which may become before the committee?
You didn't want to give this large crowd an opportunity to make public comment?
No, no, that's,
I'm just
we're not
kidding.
there yet. That's the next one.
Stole your thunder.
Yeah. And then, any, public comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Let's enter back into, where are we at here? That takes us to new business. Any other new business we need to discuss? And with none, that makes us the Brian Show, ordinances and resolutions.
Yes. Ordinarily save the best for last, but.
Well, we got public comments and old business.
Fair
Yeah.
Ordinance number 26-439, an ordinance amending appropriation ordinances 2025-415 and 26-423. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio. Section 1, the Council of the City of Milford hereby authorizes the City Finance Director to amend appropriation ordinances 2025-415 and 26-423 by increasing or decreasing the individual items as set forth and listed on the chart attached hereto and fully incorporated herein as provided in section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Said amendments total $1,445,863.43. Section 2, under and in accordance with sections 11.05 and 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance requires only one reading and shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Velardo,
Yes.
Mr. Parrish.
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Miss Barney,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Miss Russell.
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-440, an ordinance adopting a schedule of fees, fines, and charges for services, licenses, and permits. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby establishes and adopts the schedule of fees, fines, and charges for services, licenses, and permits for the City of Milford as set forth on the attachment hereto, with attachment is fully incorporated herein by reference if fully rewritten herein pursuant to and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with sections 11.05 and 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance requires only one reading and shall become effectively, no, that is my fault. I should have, that's my fault. So we need to amend Section 2 and say pursuant to and in accordance with sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council. Can somebody make a motion to amend Section 2 of that ordinance to say what I just said?
Just to understand.
Yeah.
Does it still only require one reading?
No, see, that was it's my fault for not changing it there.
I will
I made a mistake. I apologize to council.
I will make the motion to fix Mr. Pacheco's boo-boo. To amend the ordinance as he stated.
Can I carry you around all the time? It'd be very helpful, thank
Sure.
you. Sorry about that, council.
So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Roll call,
Yeah, you can roll call that one.
yeah,
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
All right, now, reading amended ordinance 26-440, an ordinance adopting a schedule of fees, fines, and charges for services, license, and permits. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby establishes and adopts a schedule of fines, fees, and charges for services, licenses, and permits for the City of Milford as set forth on the attachment hereto, which attachment is fully incorporated herein as if fully rewritten herein pursuant to and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, pursuant to and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only?
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-440, an ordinance adopting a schedule of fees, fines, and charges for services, licenses, and permits.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Again, I apologize to council. I should have caught that before, but we caught it on the fly, so thank you. Appreciate that. I will say, whoever has herein the next time, yell bingo. Ordinance number 26-441, an ordinance imposing an additional 180-day moratorium on adult-use cannabis dispensaries or businesses and prohibiting marijuana cultivators and processors within the city of Milford. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of Municipality of Milford, Ohio, whereas by ordinance numbers 24-301, 25-331, and 25-367, City Council established respective 180-day moratorium prohibiting the authorization or establishment of any adult-use cannabis dispensaries or operation within the City of Milford, including but not limited to adult-use cannabis processors, cultivators, or dispensaries. And whereas for the duration of these moratoria, the city did not take any action to authorize or to establish any adult-use cannabis business or operation within the City of Milford, including but not limited to adult-use cannabis processors, cultivators, or dispensaries. And whereas by ordinance number 24-303, City Council clarified that this moratorium did not apply to Cascade Southern Ohio LLC's location in the city at 401 Rivers Edge Drive, and whereas for the reasons set forth in ordinance numbers 24-301, 25-331, and 25-367, City Council extends the 180-day moratorium in ordinance numbers 25-331, 25-367 for another 180 days from the date of the passage of this ordinance. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1, for the reasons set forth in ordinance numbers 24-301, 25-331, and 25-367, Council extends the moratorium imposed by ordinance numbers 25-331 and 25-367 for another 180 days from the date of passage of this ordinance. This moratorium does not apply to Cascade Southern Ohio LLC's location at the city at 401 Rivers Edge Drive, Section 2. Pursuant to and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only?
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-441, an ordinance imposing an additional 180-day moratorium on adult-use cannabis dispensaries or businesses and prohibiting marijuana cultivators and processors within the city of Milford.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes. Ordinance number 26-442, an ordinance authorizing city manager to purchase new firewalls for City Hall, Water Department, and Sewer Department, whereas the City of Milford maintains a comprehensive equipment replacement schedule to ensure staff are equipped with the reliable technology necessary for efficient departmental operations and security of the city, and whereas the city has identified a need to replace 3 aging firewalls that have exceeded their service life, resulting in excessive maintenance requirements and rising security issues, and whereas the City of Milford will engage with ROI Technologies, now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The city manager is hereby authorized to purchase 3 Sophos firewalls for the City Hall, Water Department, and Sewer Department at a cost not to exceed $12,805 per the attached quote. The quote is attached and fully incorporated herein by reference under in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only?
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-442, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to purchase new firewalls for City Hall, Water Department, and Sewer Department.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-443, an ordinance allowing city manager to engage with Claremont County Chamber of Commerce for the Bronze Premier Investor status. Whereas since our founding in 1969, the Claremont Chamber of Commerce has been a driving force behind the economic development and growth of Claremont County. Furthermore, they are committed to fostering a vibrant community where businesses can grow, connect, and succeed. And whereas the Council of the City of Milford deems it necessary to have a strong presence of a Chamber of Commerce to ensure local businesses in our greater community have the available resources to grow, connect, and succeed. And whereas by achieving Bronze Premier Investor status, the City of Milford will unlock vital resources and essential community support. This partnership provides local businesses with robust advocacy, economic and workforce development, professional networking, and significant cost-saving opportunities. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. City manager is hereby authorized to engage with Claremont County Chamber of Commerce for the Bronze Premier investor status at a cost not to exceed $10,000 per the attached quote. The quote is attached and fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules, read by title only?
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-443, an ordinance allowing the city manager to engage with Claremont County Chamber of Commerce for the Bronze Premier Investor status.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-444, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to engage with Allied Pump Rentals for the purchase of Chamber Drive Lift Station improvements. Whereas the Chamber Drive Lift Station is vital to wastewater operations, ensuring solids and debris are properly transported to the treatment plant. And whereas like all mechanical components, these units experience significant wear and tear over time, resulting in reduced operational efficiency. And whereas city staff obtained competitive quotes and determined that Allied Pump Rental provided the most cost-effective proposal and has a proven track record of reliability within the city of Milford, now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The city manager is hereby authorized to engage with Allied Pump Rentals for the upgrades to the Chamber Drive lift station and for the wastewater department at a cost not to exceed $17,773.60 per the attached quote. The quote is attached and fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only?
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-444, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to engage with Allied Pump Rentals for the purchase of Chamber Drive lift station improvements.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-445, an ordinance amending Section 911.20G reimbursement rate for tree removal costs for the tree rebate program for the city of Milford, Ohio. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1, having previously established a right-of-way tree removal reimbursement program in Chapter 911 of the codified ordinances, the Council of the City of Milford hereby amends Section 911.20G of the codified ordinances as follows. Little g, upon receipt of proof of payment, the city shall reimburse the property owner for 50% of the tree removal cost with a maximum reimbursement of $500 per tree per property. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only?
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yeah, I got a question here. I don't believe that's the intent of the ordinance.
So if I may, I think, and I might have told you wrong, I think that's per tree,
Not to exceed 500 per property, right?
per property, yeah. Yeah, per tree, per property,
yeah.
So if I have 5 trees,
You only get the 500
You,
once.
you get 500 once and that's it.
okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that's the intent.
Yeah.
of
That's
it.
not correct.
Should
Tree
that
per
language not be
property, that-
clarified to
I know.
specify
That'd be
that there's
5 times 500.
not to exceed?
Didn't it say, the way I read that, it's per tree per property?
Well, we could say per tree or per property, but I did not, now, I have screwed things up tonight, as I have graphically displayed. That's the language in the current ordinance.
But I thought the intent was.
I'm not fencing, I took that ordinance from the.
That if I have 5 trees, we're not giving a property
Yeah.
every $2,500.
Yeah,
Right.
I did was change the
It's a
dollar.
one-time, up to $500.
Well, we need to clarify that.
Yeah.
So can we just simply amend it and say,
Sure.
Can I retract my motion and make a motion to amend the ordinance to specify that the maximum amount payable is $500 per property, leaving it to where it's clear that it's up to $500 per tree?
Yeah,
Second.
yeah, I don't want us to, to your point, down the road.
All right.
Okay,
So so there's a motion, there was a second. We'll vote on that motion first, please.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
So if I may, Mayor, with a maximum reimbursement of $500
Per property.
Property.
per property. Right. Okay, so all I'm gonna do then is cross out per tree and just have per property, and we don't have to worry about how that's codified previously because we're changing that now. So, okay, very good. All right, amended ordinance 26-445, an ordinance amending section 911.20G reimbursement rate for tree removal costs for tree rebate program for the city of Milford, Ohio. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1, having previously established a right-of-way tree removal reimbursement program in Chapter 911 of the codified ordinances, the Council of the City of Milford hereby amends Section 911.20G of the codified ordinances as follows. Little g, upon receipt of proof of payment, the city shall reimburse the property owner for 50% of the tree removal cost with a maximum reimbursement of $500 per property. Section 2, under in accordance with sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes,
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-445, an ordinance amending section 911.20G reimbursement rate for tree removal costs for the tree rebate program for the city of Milford, Ohio.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-446, an ordinance allowing the city manager to purchase rock salt with Morton, right? Morton Salt, Inc., per state bid 24-034 SW0P4G for a cost not to exceed $68,640. Do I have that right, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Thank you. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1, having solicited and reviewed state bid number 24-034 SWO-P4G concerning the purchase of rock salt based on the service departments of the city manager's recommendation, City Council hereby awards the bid for such purchase at a cost of $91.52 per ton to add 750 tons to the current 450 tons in the salt barn to Morton Salt at a cost not to exceed $68,640 in accordance with attached bid and contract documents. In council's judgments, Morton Salt, Inc.'s bid offers the best and most responsive price to the city considering quality, service, price, reputation, and past performances and financial conditions. City Council authorizes the city manager to contract with Morton Salt, Inc. to purchase 750 tons of rock salt in accordance with the bid and contract documents at a cost not to exceed $68,640. The bid and contract documents are attached and fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Ordinance number
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-446, an ordinance allowing the city manager to purchase rock salt with Morton Salt, Inc. per state bid number 24-034 SWO P4G for a cost not to exceed $68,640.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
They'll buy a lot of raincoats, and that Morton have the
Yeah.
raincoat and the dog, right? Thank you, Brian. Ordinance number 26-447, an ordinance amending appropriation ordinance 18-1376 and 23-202. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio. Section 1, the Council of the City of Milford previously enacted ordinance number 23-202 concerning the transfer of funds from JED 5 to the Park and Recreation Fund 204 and desires now to amend ordinance number 23-202 to provide the JED 5 funds now be transferred to the Milford Community Improvement Corporation rather than to Fund 204 because doing so is in Milford's best interest. Section 2, under in accordance with sections 11.05 and 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance requires only one reading and shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council. That is only one reading.
Motion to table.
Motion to adopt?
So
I'll
you gotta-
second the motion to table.
And that takes precedence. So on the motion to table.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
No.
Mr. Price?
Can I ask for clarification of what would you like to see happen in the tabling?
I think we need to have further discussion on this, because still, I don't agree with making this a permanent change. Why not allocate out in the budget cycle, just like we desire to do for parks? Why do we have to permanently earmark this for something? Let's have it go into the general fund and use our desire to budget out line items to budget for the CIC.
Well, I would argue that if you want to vote up or down, we've got a motion, let's vote on it. That's what we're here to do.
I would agree with Ralph. So we had, refresh my memory, where were we? in this?
The motion right now is to
Table.
table.
Yeah, motion
to table.
Yeah, and, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Mr. Thompson?
No.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
No.
Fourth. Is that everybody?
4-3.
4-3 table
Yeah, so-
fails.
So I have
Correct.
a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only, right?
Yeah, you only need one read, so you're.
Oh, I'm
so you're
motion
ready.
to adopt.
There you go, yeah.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Parrish?
No.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
No.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
No.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
That is all I have, Mayor, thank you.
Any public comments? Old business? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
What about, do we have old business?
Do we?
Well, you know,
Is there any old business? No?
I don't think so.
unless you want to,
Well, I don't know if this is the format to bring it up, but I have some questions on who all is involved in the CIC Economic Development Committee? Who are the people? How do you get on the committee? And also, I think, at least me, being new, in order to make good, solid decisions, I need to learn more, have a training session on the financials and the various funds and how things move in and move out. Otherwise, I'm going to end up making a bad decision.
fair enough.
So,
Well, we can set all that up.
if you would, that's my request. Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved.